I'll call this drainage meeting to order. The purpose of the meeting is for council to adopt or reject the engineer's report or to direct the engineer to make changes related to errors, emissions, design, or scope of work. Any questions or concerns regarding assessments will not be considered or addressed this evening, and that'll be directed to the Court of Revision, who will appoint this evening. And any questions regarding the Court of Revision should be directed to Alana Vanderveen, the city's drainage superintendent. If I could have councillors Bodner and Bagu move to adopt the agenda. Any questions with regards to the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Disclosures of interest. I have Councillor Hoyle for the meeting to consider the Northland Estates Drain 2024-163 as a family member resides and is named within the Northland Estate Municipal Drain Report. Correct, Councillor? I do have a conflict of interest from Councillor Beauregard. He is not here, so I'll have to declare that at our next council meeting. But Councillor Beauregard has declared a conflict as he works for one of the consultants with regards to Northland Estates. Any further conflicts, councillors? Okay. So Councillor Hoyle, you can leave at any time. Since the only business tonight is what you've got a conflict with. So, so we do have a presentation from the engineer tonight, Mr. Woodner, from Street Associates. I don't know if you want me to just go to you first, or do you want to go to your, I'll go to you first.
Excellent. Through you, Mr. Mayor and fellow councillors. So tonight, as you already stated, we're to look at the, or you're to look at the report and see if there is any just reason as to not pass the report. To my knowledge, there is not, but I mean, you will determine that on your own throughout the course of the evening. There is one clarification that I'd like to make in the mailing or in the report that I sent. In there, it states that everyone had invited to previous meetings. Only those directly affected were invited to previous meetings. So that was just a clarification point that I wanted to make note of. However, everyone did on August 29th or shortly thereafter receive a mailing letting them know what was going on with this particular municipal drain. And to that, I will introduce Mr. Woodner, who is the engineer.
Great, thanks. Welcome. Just press the red button on the speaker right there, and you can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Brendan Widner from Street Associates. I'm the author of the drainage report you have here. So this is a new drain. It's done under Section 4. It's just on the edge of town here. It's named the Northland Estates Drain as it serves a subdivision that I'm sure you're all aware of. It dumps into an existing drain, or outlets into a drain, which is the Eagle Marsh extension in this case. I'm sure many of you know the Eagle Marsh drain proceeds over in the township of Wainfleet and then comes back in the Port Colborne. You guys have a pump structure and a dam down at the lake. So that's part of this watershed. The drain at this part of Eagle Marsh is from 1955. The report is quite old. It's not very clear on some of the details of some of the developments that have happened in this area of Carnation Drive. This drain here, we've named a new drain, dumping into the extension to help clarify everything. This drain, is, as everyone's probably realized, it's being driven by the developer. They're also paying the entire cost. So it's all assessed to them. There's about 700 meters of ditch being proposed, dumping into the existing ditch, which we are conveniently also appointed on through another report. That being said, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a new ditch constructed. It is all on the adjacent agricultural property behind the subdivision. If you look on the map, it's on the west side. It's going to be on the agricultural property, not through all the residentials. Currently, the area is privately served via rear yard swales, which are in the residential property. It's not conducive to reconstruct that due to it goes down everyone's backyards, underneath their sheds. There's a number of issues. So we're putting in the agricultural property. It goes essentially up to the new subdivision of Northland Estates and then proceeds along the rear of some more residential properties, and it coordinates with their swim facility, which is in approximately that area. So it's entirely being paid for by the developer, but you will see, and you can see the costs outlined in the report, There is another schedule here, assessment for maintenance. Yes, the developer's paying for everything, but going forward in the future, when the drain needs to be cleaned, everybody in the catchment area pays a portion. That being said, the area of Northland Estates is the largest portion, but everyone else pays a small piece because the drain is there for everybody. That being said, if anyone has any questions, this one's fairly straightforward. I'd be happy to answer them.
Great, thanks, Mr. Widener. Any questions with regards to this? Councilor Baggett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Whitner. You just mentioned that the existing ditch, or you call it swale, is on the residents' backyards, and you're building one on agricultural property further to the west, I guess.
Yeah, much deeper,
Okay,
much larger.
So eventually, when the full report comes in, they'll have to bear the cost of the drainage to the new ditch, the residents.
Well, the residents, the drain is on the agricultural property. It's at the back of the residence. As the water sheds, the water can all shed to the new ditch. The issue you have there is, I don't know if anyone's been to the site, all those backyards are mature trees. These are very, I guess, deceiving. The lots are very deep and rather large.
Yeah.
Let's say the property line or boundary is all mature trees. We had a couple meetings, and Elena, she'll remember the dates. It was proposed once to go through all the backyards, and some, I would say the majority of the owners were on board, and then we laid it out for them, and this was the option we chose, I'll say.
Okay, thank you. Next question. This is all part of the Eagle Marsh drainage system. The final report, I think, was supposed to be in the middle of July. Do you have an estimate when we're going to get the final report for the whole Eagle Marsh drain?
So the Eagle Marsh drain, the next step is to have a meeting with the entire watershed. So there's I guess that's a separate question for another day. That's something Elaine and I will do. The entire watershed of the Eagle Marsh drain is like approximately, thousands of people. That's a little bit difficult to facilitate, but we are in the works of facilitating it. It's a much larger schematic. We do have some DFO permitting issues with the Eagle Marsh drain. There's some sensitive areas, the clay pits. There's a number of factors and working factors. We did have a meeting with a couple landowners, I would say 8 weeks ago, to discuss some more imminent issues in Wainfleet. That report is forthcoming. The preliminary meeting will be booked in the near future.
Okay, thank you. I'm only concerned because the big picture, these residents here are paying X amount of dollars today for this report. And then with the Eagle Marsh drain report, they will get billed again probably,
Well,
because they have to go downhill.
I guess where we're going, what do you mean by residents? This report we're considering tonight
Yeah.
is purely paid by one person.
Okay, so all the houses on Coronation Drive that drain to that ditch right now is paid for by the developer?
No, this report and the construction
Okay.
is
yeah.
the developer.
I see what you mean. I'm on the next report, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we'll deal with later on.
No problem, Mr. Mayor.
And I will say something. This municipality, I believe, has a storm sewer charge, and that is some of the issue. Are they in the catchment area or not in the catchment area? Are we charging them for storm sewer? And if we're not, then they're all paying, and the report is each person. And that makes it much more complicated on my end.
Yeah, I can see that. It is very complicated. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Bruno?
I had my questions answered earlier today, but just to Councilor Bagut's comment though, for tonight, calculations will be there for their maintenance, just not the construction, right? When I say they, I meant the other residents.
Oh, yeah, it's all in here. That's Schedule C. So when we talk about quarter revision, there's one person that can appeal their, let's say, construction assessment.
Right.
Everyone else only has the right to appeal their maintenance assessment.
So if I could, just maybe I can get to the end of it. So back to Councilor Beggy's point. So tonight, the construction is being borne by the developer. I get it. There'll be a maintenance because this is a whole new setup, some of which will be people on like Coronation Drive.
It's everybody in this area here.
Yes. And then when the Eagle Marsh drain comes up, these same people that are just paying a maintenance here may then have the Eagle Marsh drain on their plate and the maintenance of the Eagle Marsh drain?
Correct, but they
Got
do now currently.
Ah.
So
Okay.
there's a report for the Eagle Marsh drain and everyone is in it,
Got it. Great.
regardless of the new report or not. But yes, there is another bill coming on another day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Set? Okay. Any further questions? Great. Thank you. So council, we don't have any registered delegates, but there are people from the neighborhood that are here. So if anybody would like to come up and make any comments or ask any questions of us? No one? You don't have to do it. No. You can call Alana tomorrow, but you can come up front if you want. Yeah, you gotta come up front. And then just state your name and your address, please. It's on.
It's name's Jim Cease. I live at 29 Coronation Drive. Now, I've been fighting this issue with the Eagle Marsh drain for, I bet you, 20 years, as Gary knows. And nothing's ever been done. Like the run that goes from the east to west, then grass thrown in there, it's just like a windrow. And even if they got water getting to that point, how is it going to get out? It's going to flood everybody's backyard. So I'm hoping that as part of this process, it'll be done right back to Minor Road.
So, yeah, so that'll be the next phase of this, Jim. This is done now because the developer needs it for his development when it gets done. But they're also working on, from the current drain that's at the west end of Coronation and Merritt, which goes all the way to Wainfleet and then back into Port Colborne. So that'll be coming.
Cleaned theirs in '66, I think it was.
It's been a long time, yes, I know. So that's coming back, and we're not sure of 100% of a date, but it'll probably be within the next, how long, Alana? Approximately, like, are we looking at 3 months, 5 months, 6 months?
Say 6 months?
Early 2025.
There you go. So early 2025, the first portion of going through that whole drainage issue will come back. So as the engineer said, they'll have a meeting with everybody that's involved with that drain, which is quite large because you know how big it is. But tonight we're only dealing with the north part, but as this gets built and then the next phase for the whole drain to Wainfleet gets done, then it'll be finally complete.
Yeah, do you remember when they're going to have that housing complex behind Canadian Tire? And it was the same company that done the engineering report. When it was canceled, that report was killed. We never knew what happened to it.
Yeah, that was at Todco? Yeah, so that subdivision went defunct and
Yeah.
yeah, it was never even renewed. So now my understanding is the property's up for sale, but this is a total different thing, so yeah. But that will be coming back to us within early 2025 with regards to the remainder of the Eagle Marsh.
Right on. Right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Good, thanks, Jim.
To you, Mr. Mayor and Council, Mr. Cease does have a very good point. And if Council will allow, when we do the maintenance or the construction of the Northland Estates drain, if council allows us to do the maintenance up to Minor Road and just hold those costs until the Eagle Marsh drain is complete, it would be very beneficial, but you would have to allow us to do that.
Do you need that decision included tonight?
Sure.
Okay. Counselor, remember that, please? Okay. All right. That's fine. That's good. Anybody else? Yeah, come on up.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is John DeWolf. I live on 93 Merritt Parkway. I've been looking at these maps and I'm trying to figure out the drain. I know it's going to be outside of my property. I'm just wondering how far into the farmer's field, because as I look at that line, there is still a row of brush that sticks into the farmer's field. Make things easy, they could extend that allowance a little farther into the farmer's field. You wouldn't have to clean any brush. You'd have a far faster job of digging that ditch and getting it done.
Alana, do you know how far off the property lines this is?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I believe the engineer has called for the ditch, the top of bank to be right up against the property line. When we're constructing it, if there are a large number of mature trees, we will slide a little bit over, but not a great deal.
Okay. You can come up here beside Alana. Yeah.
I know there is still some mature trees that will come down if they stick with about a half a meter or so out of the property line. If they can go instead maybe 2 meters, you might lose less trees. And we're losing enough trees as it is. Okay.
So the correct answer is it's 0.6 off property line. So the top of bank, that is. So when this drain was completed, or I guess before we completed it, we had the property lines of the rear of these yards all marked by an Ontario land surveyor. That being said, the owner who owns that property, they're losing the land. So they don't want it further out in the field. The further you push it out in the field, the more land they lose. That property, in their eyes, it is agricultural currently, but they have their hopes that it's more developable in the future, let's say. So the allowances are approximately $150,000 a hectare, and that's being paid for by the upstream landowner, not all these residential lots. So it's tight to the property line to use as little as land as possible. The other option we had was put it right on property line, but the residential landowners would have lost all those trees. The perfect location would have been on property line, because then they all have access directly. Yeah, I don't like seeing all the trees go, but unfortunately that's beyond our control. The farmer could remove them tomorrow. But it's 0.6, so it's 2 feet, that's top of bank, and then it's sloped at a 2-to-1 slope down to the ditch. The ditch ranges from anywhere from 6 meters, or about 20 feet, to almost 8 meters, 24 feet from top of bank to top of bank. So the landowner's losing all that land, as well as a working corridor is on his property. So, he's receiving more loss than people will see, because you have a maintenance corridor as well. So in the future, that land's essentially locked. Can't develop it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Can that, to the engineer, can that be the topic of a conversation between the abutting landowner and the farmer? Or you really need that to get decided now? In other words, if there's any leeway, can the two of them sort that out?
So I guess we have a design in front of us. Small changes can be made during construction, but we're not on these residential lots, so it's really all one person's decision on where it's going. Like, you know, the intention is, yeah, if there's a large tree on the property line, it would probably be saved. That being said, there's a lot of dead ash trees back there as well. There's some work needs to be done. Yeah, but it is on, essentially, it's 2 feet off property line to get it as close to the property as we could.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Come on up.
I'm Dick Grant, I live at 53 Coronation Drive. If the farmer's concerned about future development, is he not going to benefit from that swale as well? That's a lot of property. I mean, the lots that we're living on are a few hundred feet deep. Well, his properties, it's got to be more than 1,000 feet over the minor road, isn't it? Well more than that. So we're asking him for 10 more feet or 5 more feet of his property to get out of that bush.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of beautiful big trees back there, and he's going to have to knock them down. If he comes 0.6, that's 2 feet. So he starts, the roots for those trees cover a big area, right? So they're all going to get affected. So what's another 5 or 6 feet, 2 meters off of his property? He's going to benefit in the future if it's all developed, right?
Thanks, Dick. Further questions? Okay. So at this time, if I could put the report on the floor, if I could have Councillors Bruno and Danch move the Public Works Department Report 2024-163 be received, that the mayor and acting clerk be directed to execute a bylaw to provisionally adopt the Northland Estates Municipal Drain Engineers Report dated August 14th, 2024, prepared by Brandon Widner, P.Eng. of Spreet Associates Engineers and Architects under Section 4, Chapter D17 of the Drainage Act, RSO 1990, and that Councillors Bodner, Aquilina, and Bagu, and Councillor Bruno as alternate for the City of Port Colborne be appointed to sit on the Court of Revision. You all right with that, councillors? Okay. And we want to add what about doing the other cleaning of the portions? You need to add that as an amendment. Alana, do you want to give them some verbiage for that?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. So after your and, add in that the maintenance of the existing Eagle Marsh drain from the outlet of the Northland Estates drain to Minor Road be maintained in conjunction with this construction.
Just one.
Yep.
So just for the residents, so then that'll merge in that meeting and they'll get a grand number for it when we do Eagle Marsh Drain? Yeah, okay.
You're all right with that, Councillor Danch, with the amendment? Okay. So we're accepting the north portion of the new section of this drain, and then the cleaning from the current drain where it meets this new drain west to Minor Road, correct? Okay, every councillor understands that, just making sure. Are there any more questions towards this? Any further questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. So we have 2 bylaws this evening. We have the bylaw to provide for a Section 4 engineer's report for drainage works in the City of Port Colborne in the regional municipality of Niagara, known as the Northland Estates Municipal Drain, provisional first and second readings. If I could have Councillors Bagu and Bodner move that the Northland Estates Municipal Drain bylaw be provisionally adopted this 18th day of September 2024. Questions? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaw 5.2 is to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne at its meeting to consider of September 18, 2024. If I could have Councillors Aquilina and Danch move that the bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne at its meeting to consider of September 18, 2024 be enacted and passed. All in favor? That's carried. We're now adjourned.